You are looking live here at DNA HQ. My name is Darren. That is AJ, and we are ready to go live here with you guys on the DNA Sports Recap.
Yes, we are.
It's fantastic.
As always.
As always. As always. All right, let's go ahead and get into a little bit of the topics we're going to hit today. So let's go ahead and record our intros to that, and we'll start from there. Does that work?
Absolutely.
All right. So again, folks, if you're watching this live, streaming on live, feel free to drop in the comments where you're watching from. We'd love to see it. So from there, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about, let's do the intros. So you want to read the one for NBA?
Yep. The Utah Jazz. I can't remember what I'm supposed to say. Okay. How have the Utah Jazz looked after the NBA trade deadline?
In Major League Baseball, with pitchers and catchers reporting to spring training and the camps are now open, what is grabbing all the headlines? It's not the play, it's the jerseys. All that and more. My name is Darren. That is AJ, and this is the DNA Sports Recap.
Yes, it is. Roll the intro.
There you go. How's it going, AJ?
I'm doing good, buddy. How are you?
Oh, I'm living the dream, man. Living the dream. It's been rainy here in Salt Lake City.
I know. It's been crazy.
Yeah, it's been nuts.
I don't mind a little bit of rain, but this has just been...
Yeah, I don't mind it. It's one of those things, like, it's too cold for it not to snow.
Yeah, but like especially when you go out there at night and it's freezing.
Yeah.
You're like, it should be snowing right now, not raining.
I need it to snow if it's going to be this cold. If it's not going to be cold, then I'm okay with the rain.
Yep.
But if you're going to be cold, give me the snow.
Yep.
Right?
That's how I feel.
Yeah. Perfect. All right. Before we get into the subjects at hand that we're going to talk about today, we need a pre-show cheers.
Oh, yeah.
We did not do a sound check cheers.
Oh, man. We missed out on one.
Cheers to you.
And cheers to you, my friends.
I did not stop on your line this time.
That was rude last week.
Yeah, that was really weird last week. Shouldn't do that again. All right, well, let's go ahead and first talk a little bit about college football. We have a little bit of news to talk about on that side. And before we get into the national news, I do want to cover some local stuff. As you said, let's go local.
Yeah, go Utes.
Let's go. Let's talk about the Utes. So the Big 12 ranking, power rankings came out. FanDuel has released the over-under wins for the Big 12 this year, and it looks like Utah and Kansas State are both leading the conference with a 9.5 over-under win line. What do you think about that?
Well, you know, as we talked about before, I'm taking the over all day on that.
Yeah.
I think the Utes are definitely the best team in this conference. Kansas State had a great season last year. I'm not trying to knock them in any way, shape, or form.
Mm-hmm.
But I still think the Utes are a little bit undervalued in this conference. You know what I mean? With Cam Rising back and healthy, and just like we mentioned before, that's the only thing you can really count on is
Brant Keith's going to come back. Yep.
I mean, Brant Keithy, like this team's talented. They're deep. They've got a ton of experience, and I think they've got their goals set on the college football playoff. And we'll know early. You know, that first game at Oklahoma State, we'll know if they're tuned up and ready to compete in the Big 12 championship or not.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to it, man. It's a good first indicator about where the rest of the, especially, you want to know about college football, man. You check the betting sites.
Yep.
You want to see what people are thinking.
They've got their finger on the pulse better than anybody else because there's a lot of money to be made out there.
Exactly. So really awesome to see the Utes get a lot of recognition there. But now the other more national football story when it comes to college football is Chip Kelly. Former UCLA head coach Chip Kelly signs to be the offensive coordinator for Ryan Day and Ohio State, or what they call the Ohio State, is what I've heard them called.
The Ohio State.
The only people who call them that are people who went there.
Or anybody that lives in Ohio.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Akron, where you at? So I don't know. What is your take on this? Like, does this surprise you?
No, not even a little bit, actually.
Okay.
Chip Kelly is an offensive genius,
right?
That's his whole thing, his whole career. The dude, he designs and he creates these just ridiculously talented offensive schemes. It doesn't take a ton of skill players. It's all around his scheme. It's in the NFL now. It's everywhere. But that's all he wants to do, man. Chip Kelly wants to be an offensive guy that draws up plays. So, I mean, that speaks volumes. I mean, he left coaching a Big 12 program to go be an offensive coordinator. You know, so it tells you he doesn't want to do the recruiting side. He wants to go in and coach, draw up plays, because recruiting's tough. You know, I mean, you look at the programs that he's been with. He's been with Oregon. He's been with UCLA.
Mhm.
You don't have to recruit those schools.
No.
You know what I mean? You put the big O on anywhere, and kids are going to Oregon. It's that program, right? And I mean, UCLA, you've got some of the most talented high school players in the country coming out of the LA market. And some of them just want to play home, and you get those players at UCLA. So you get handed talent in those markets. And I think that's one of the things that really kind of drove this for Chip Kelly is he doesn't want to do the recruiting, right? He wants to go coach players, call plays, and that's what he's going to have an opportunity to do at Ohio State.
Gotcha. Well, so I had a different take on this, man. I thought this may have more to do with the current state of college football and the old hats wanting to say that this is a new guys game in this modern era of NIL and portal transfers.
Yeah.
It's just not the same having to recruit your players every single time, you know, every single week. And then always obviously having to worry about getting them paid and everything like that. Like,
yeah,
I thought, you know, that might be part of it, you know, and that's kind of what we're seeing, you know, with people like Nick Saban retiring, you know.
Yeah, I think there's definitely some of that to it, right? I mean, and I think recruiting and maintaining rosters is harder than it's ever been, especially for an older guy like Chip Kelly that's been around the game a long time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's coached in all these different levels. Of course it's going to be something that's on his mind and weighed his decision. But I think at the end of the day, Chip Kelly just wants to draw up plays. He just wants to be out there, and he wants to be the best he possibly can at creating offenses and making them explosive. And he's going to have an opportunity.
No, I agree. He's also with the offensive coordinator duties for Ohio State. He's also going to be taking on the duties of quarterback coach as well.
Yeah.
So, you know, hats off to you, Chip. I'm surprised he didn't take any of the NFL. I mean, some NFL interest had to come his way, even just a coordinator position there.
You would think so, but I mean,
maybe he's just in love with the college game. You know,
I think he is, man. I mean, I think he likes developing players at that level, right? I mean, you get much more raw players in college, you know, that are straight out of high school that are willing to listen and develop. And yeah, they may be getting paid these days, but they're not getting paid big time money, right? They're not getting. Okay, yeah, good point. Good point.
Some are.
I say that, and then I know that Cam Rising made 6 or 7 figures last year.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, they're not making
tens of millions, but they're still making. Some of them are still making millions of dollars.
Yeah, so I understand that, and that makes sense to me. I just figure that for me, I think maybe it's because that they're still in development. Because one of the things I read on college football is that these quarterbacks are coming out being system quarterbacks, not talent quarterbacks nowadays.
Right.
They're being trained on how to run a system, not necessarily how to make the right reads.
How to quarterback. So, yeah, absolutely.
Exactly. So that might have something to do with it. Maybe if he's in the NFL, he's not getting, you know, the control over the offense that he would like to have, I'm guessing. But yeah, hats off to you, Chip Kelly. I'm glad we're not in the same division, you know, so that's good.
Absolutely.
You know, so we're happy to see that. And yeah, look forward to seeing what he does over there with Ohio State for sure. All right. So you want to move over to the Utah Jazz?
Go Jazz.
All right, let's do that. Do we want to switch the color?
Yeah, we should.
We should switch
Why
the
not?
color.
It'll make it a little bit easier when we go to cut this apart.
Yeah, absolutely.
You want me to hit the button?
Can you hit the button without too much kerfuffle?
Oh, no, maybe not.
Maybe not? Okay.
Maybe not. Hold on. Wait for this. Oh, that's the flashing. Oh, no. Okay, is that a solid color?
That's a green.
It's a green or green.
That's a green or green.
All right, we're gonna go blue.
Let me go with blue.
Let's go blue.
I like it.
All right. We're back.
We are back. All right, so let's go ahead and talk a little bit about the Utah Jazz, shall we?
Yes, Darren. We need to. We need to. I haven't wanted to talk about the Jazz so much lately because this team, since trade deadline, has been very difficult to watch.
Yeah, 0-3 since the deadline.
Yep,
which is not great. But and you were at the game last night, which I actually want to talk about the Lakers at the end of this segment. So don't let me forget.
Okay.
But let me ask you this first. What was your experience of at the game last night?
I mean, when we got there, the crowd was excited. You know what I mean? There's always a ton of Lakers fans. Anytime you go to a Lakers game, there's going to be a ton of people there.
Right.
I was sitting right next to a guy that's wearing a Lakers jersey, and
you didn't spit in his face.
it was kind of funny because I kept realizing I only realized he was a Lakers fan after like halfway through the first quarter, when I was like, this guy's clapping at the wrong time. What is he doing? And I looked over and I was like, oh, he's not cheering for my team. So
nice.
Yeah, the energy was okay, but I'll tell you what, man, being in the arena, the refs were absolutely killing us.
Really?
I mean, every time there was a call, dude, I don't know if you could hear it on TV, but there was boos, and you could just feel the energy being sucked out of the Delta Center because of the refereeing.
It was tough to watch, man.
Yeah.
Like I from what I could see, even you can even hear it on the call, because I listened to part of the broadcast too. You can even hear it on the call, like that David Locke was like, that was probably a good one from the challenge right there. Don't know why they're looking at it. And maybe the coaches just knew, like, even they're not going to overturn this.
Yeah.
Even though it's clearly obvious they're not going to overturn it. Yeah, whenever the Jazz play the Lakers, I always feel like that's basically what we're getting, is we're playing against 7, not 5.
Yeah.
You know?
8.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, 8. There's 3 refs. Sorry. But yeah, I think that, yeah, I don't know, man. It was definitely tough. But let's kind of go into a little bit of it now. Over the last 3 games, the number one thing that stands out to me is definitely going to be the defense, how that's slipped over the last. It's been since before the trade deadline.
Yeah,
but definitely over the last 3 games, we're starting to see 129 points against the Phoenix Suns, another 129 points against Golden State Warriors, and 138 points against the Lakers last night, who were missing LeBron James, who was not playing on the second night of a back-to-back.
Yep. LeBron never plays here.
Yeah, that's what we're going to talk about here in a minute. I have a theory.
Okay, good.
I have a theory.
So, yeah, I mean, over the last 3 games, the Jazz are allowing 131 points per 100 possessions.
Oof.
That is rough, man.
That's very rough.
That is really, really bad. They've really struggled shooting the 3, and then they've really struggled defending the 3. I mean, and as we both know, you live and die by the 3 ball in the NBA these days.
I got 2 takes on that. One, why are they like the Lakers are ranked 28th in 3 points and 3-point efficiency in the league, and yet we're leaving them wide open to take practice shots.
I don't know. I don't know a whole lot about Rui Hachimura, but this dude was just torching us last night.
Right?
And he's got 8 feet to the nearest defender, and he's just knocking down wide open. He's still an NBA player. Why are you leaving him that wide open?
I didn't see the stats at the end of the game, but towards the middle of the third quarter, we were shooting as a team 29% from the field and 18% from 3, I believe, midway through the third quarter.
It was rough.
So my take on that is, like, when are we going to stop this? Like, when are we going to realize that we are not the Golden State Warriors? We do not have a 1 and 2 guard that collectively shoots over 42% from 3. Like, why are we taking so many threes as the Jazz? I know that's the league, now, but this team does not have 3-point shooting.
Yeah,
we don't. I mean, Clarkson, you said it yourself on one of our previous episodes from season 1. So, geez, remember that one. Go back and check out that video when we talked about JC re-signing. That he's a streaky shooter. He's either on or he's not.
And he can be off for 4, 5, 6 games in a row. Yeah. And then he can turn it back on for 4, 5, 6 games in a row, but then he's back off. And it's like, that's really tough to put together super accurate lineups, right? When Clarkson is your most probably threatening 3-point shooter. I mean, Markkanen shoots a much better percentage 3-point wise, but Clarkson is that guy that can light it up, get the ball down. You know what I mean? He can drive. He can create his own shot, because once he can shoot the 3 and you've got to step up on him, he can put the ball on the floor and go past you and get an easy 10, 15 footer. Right.
Right.
So he demands so much gravity because of his ability to score the ball in multiple levels. But when he misses one shot, man, you're just like, this could be a very long night for us.
Yeah, it definitely can. And yeah, it's tough, man. Part of it is definitely, the defense decline. I wouldn't put so much of it on. Well, first of all, the biggest part is the Jags have lacked that rotational depth at the wing spot since they traded away Simone Fontecchio. I think that's the biggest piece. Ochai, to an extent, however, I do notice that ever since his shooting dropped, he wasn't really much in the rotation towards the end there.
He wasn't in the rotation so much, but he gave us some really good defensive minutes, though.
He did. But those minutes weren't 20 minutes a game. He dropped down to like 8 minutes a game, if that, So I do think the biggest piece is going to be Fontecchio not being a solid defender, not being there, and obviously with Olynyk, also being gone is a big piece of that too.
Yeah. Interestingly enough, the Jazz do not currently have a lineup that has played over 100 possessions together that is a positive plus minus team. With 5 players on the floor, the Jazz do not have a positive plus minus. They don't have a lineup that's played over. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah. On that cheery note, let us know in the comments, folks. If you're watching this live, we'd love to hear from you guys in the comments there. Let us know where you're repping, where you're watching from. We'd love to hear it from you. Let us know what you think as well on how the Jazz are playing so far. We'd love to hear from you in the chat. Be sure to drop that down and let us know. So again, Ochai, yes, definitely a great, probably one of our best easily our best defending wing. Our best defending guard we had on the team.
Yeah.
And it's not Adam Dunn. Chris Dunn is doing an amazing job as far as now he is our lead defending guard, I would say.
And he might have been there before because Chris Dunn's done a really, really fantastic job this whole entire season, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like he's played really well. And he's finally like you kind of saw him get into his rhythm where he's good moving the offense. He's pointing on the, he's pointing on the court. He's trying to get people to say where they need to be. And he's watching that kind of stuff. So that's important. But I mean, when you lack any kind of actual like cohesion with the groups that are on the floor, dude, it's just absolutely crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. Nessa Joe is telling us that she's repping from Utah. So awesome. Local. Appreciate that. Thanks for the comment. Now, as far as I would say, when it comes to not only just the lack of depth we have as far as defensive presence go on the team, I'd also say defensively what's hurting this team is also going to be lack of communication. Now, we joked about this previously on another episode, but anytime that THT is getting significant minutes, we're going to lose the game. It's also kind of funny how the term communication lapses really seems to jump out and be a common occurrence when THT is in the rotation as much as he is. That's tend to be something that the Coach Hardy does say at the end of games. I don't know if you're reading between the lines like I am when he makes those post-game comments. But,
yep.
You also have Larry Markkinen, who spent most of his season as a 4, now playing a lot of minutes as a 3 than he wasn't playing before. So over the last 3 games, that seems to be something that stepped up. Also, Kessler said in an interview that when you help over, when you shift, it's confusing guys when to shift, which guys are running into screens. Personally, not being a good communicator, I can do a better job doing that depending on who's being screened. So that's him kind of taking on the load there. I really don't think defensively, I mean, the guy had 3 blocks in the first quarter against Golden State. So defensively, I think he's doing his job. I think the helper is kind of breaking down there, and I think we have a problem. We definitely have a problem with communication with these rotations for sure.
Yeah. So it's funny you mentioned THT. The Jazz have one lineup that's played over 100 possessions, right? That is currently minus 21.4. Do you want to give a guess to the 5 players that are on the lineup in that?
Okay, so we're definitely going to have THT on there for sure. We're going to have Kessler. He's going to be on the floor.
Yep.
We're going to have John Collins.
Yep.
We're going to have I want to say Keontae.
Nope.
No, it's going to be Sexton. He's no. Who am I thinking?
Jordan.
Really? Jordan?
Yeah.
JC? No way.
Yep.
Okay.
And then Larry.
Yeah.
Yep. So THT, Clarkson, Markkinen, Collins, and Kessler are a minus 21.4. They're the only lineup that the Jazz currently still have, right? Because this is taking out obviously any rotations with Olynyk or Ochai or Simone. Because we have a bunch of rotations that are over 100 possessions with Ochai, Simone, or KO. That are positive in the plus minus. This is the only rotation that we still have that has over 100 possessions, and it's a negative 21.4 in the plus minus, meaning we're scoring 101 points and allowing 122 points in that same time.
Oof. Yeah, that's tough. That's really tough. And I know I'm a bit hard on THT, but he is basically the Coors Light banquet beer version of JC.
Mhm.
He's a little less talented, a little less fast, but they're basically they're facilitating the same role. So it does not blow my mind that we have two streaky shooters that are both.
THT is a terrible 3-point shooter, and he took 5 or 6 wide open shots last night that I literally called miss. And like I had people turning around looking at me, and I was just like, he's a terrible 3-point shooter. Like he shouldn't even take that shot.
Yeah.
His best bet is to put it on the floor and drive and get a 15-footer, get a little push shot or something like that. You can't shoot the 3 ball. What are you doing? I don't care if there's no one on your half of the floor. Don't shoot it.
Yeah, he's definitely an NBA player, but he's one of those players that I like to call he's a stat stuffer on a bad team.
Yep.
He'll look really good, and his line will look great. It's very similar to Enes Kanter and
Ennis DeCanter.
That's right. Oh geez, you know what I'm talking about. It's not on set here anymore, but it was there. But yeah, I don't know, man. There's also the morale issue when it comes to this. I don't know. The Jazz, obviously you could see when they were playing, it's in the body language, especially for those first 2 games out the gate, that they just are not playing together and they are just down. I don't know if you noticed. I don't know if you caught some of the comments from Larry Markkinen after.
I didn't. I was driving home.
Okay, so after the games, they were talking after the trade deadline. They asked Larry Markkinen what he thought about the trades, and he said, he commented about empty seats on the bus. He's like, when we get on the bus, we ride together. There was empty seats where Simone was and where, Ochai Agbaji was, and he's Olynyk. Those are empty seats that he used to shoot around with and chat with and go to dinner with after games. Those seats are now empty, and now in shoot around, there's guys there, but they're not the same people that he's built a relationship with.
Yep. He
said, while this is just part of the game and it's part of the business, and you got to get used to it, he feels that he will never get used to it, never understand it. So my question to you on that one there is, how much patience do you think Larry Markkinen's going to have for this whole? Okay, we don't look the way we want. Let's go ahead and dump everything that we have on this team and not be competitive this year.
I mean, I think he's got to be. I think he's got to be patient, right? Because things are changing. I mean, the league's ever changing, and he is the star for this Utah Jazz team. I mean, they have openly said in every media outlet everywhere that he is the player they're building around. Mm-hmm. He was an all-star last year. He's still putting together great numbers this year. Laurie has the ability to facilitate. He can score it from all 3 levels. He's a fantastic basketball player that. I think we kind of forget he's also a human, right? And that's always going to be part of it. But he's got to remember that he's got to be that guy, because in these last 3 games that we've got a chance to see, he hasn't been, man.
No,
like he's been almost non-existent.
No,
like even still averaging almost 20 points, it doesn't seem like it. Like he hasn't been scoring the ball great. He doesn't pass it. I feel like the ball's getting stuck a lot. I don't know, man. I just want to kind of wrap it up by saying, like, the Jazz need to find a lineup that you can get effort, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I get it. The team's been ripped apart. KO's gone. Ochai, Simone. These were all part of the motor that made that Jazz team go. And they weren't fantastic. They weren't great. They weren't going to win the NBA championship, but they were winning ball games that they shouldn't have won.
Right.
Plain and simple. They were winning games. They were beating teams that they didn't have any business winning.
They're in typical Jazz DNA, losing to teams they shouldn't lose to and winning games they shouldn't win.
Yeah,
it felt like a normal Jazz team for sure. Yep. Now, when it comes to that, like, I do want to mention a few things when it comes to that. I don't know. This is something that came up on Spence Checkett's The Drive on ESPN 700. He's got a little bit of inside with the team there. Being formerly with that, he mentioned the sit down where they sat Larry for the last few games of the season with a phantom injury, basically,
right?
And just to improve their draft class, and you could tell Larry did not like that, and they basically gave him the speech saying, "Hey, we're going to go for it next year," and here they are at the trade deadline again,
moving everything,
yeah, and saying, "Okay, wait till next year." The competitiveness side of him is probably not going to be happy with that,
right?
So. I don't know. We'll see how long that goes. But before we move on from the Utah Jazz, I do want to cover a few things. First of all, let's talk about deadline trade rumors. Did you hear the rumors that the Jazz tried to make a trade for DeJounte Murray?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
From the Atlanta Hawks. What do you think about that? That makes this all more confusing because
it does.
Obviously, they didn't want it. They wanted to maintain their current, hey, we're going to suck until we don't kind of thing. That's a long-term play. Why are you trying to trade for a point guard that's going to put you at immediately?
I actually think that's the reason that KO and Ochai were moved. I bet you they were trying to get a first-round pick to facilitate the DeJounte Murray trade.
Huh.
Because they were asking for multiple first-rounders for DeJounte Murray.
Mm-hmm.
The Jazz weren't going to give up multiple first-round picks that they already had, right? Especially if they think they can get a first-round pick for Kelly Olynyk. So you try to get a first round in return for KO, you'll give up one of your future firsts, right? A 24 and then a 27 or whatever that may be. Now you've given up 2 first-round picks and a player like somebody, somebody else, a THT or whatever you need to match salaries.
Mm-hmm.
And now you're in the running for him.
Yeah.
I think the Hawks probably backed out.
Probably.
So,
because they did have another offer on the table, and we'll talk about that in a second because I do want to pivot to that. But once again, folks, if you're watching live, we'd love to hear it from you in the comments. Please drop it in the comments, where you're watching from. We'd love to hear where you're at. If you guys are local, if you're national, international. I know we do get some people from the Philippines and stuff like that. So,
absolutely.
I'm Finland as well for those Larry marketing people.
Yeah.
So let's hear from you. Let us know in the comments for sure. But yeah, so before we jump on from the Jazz here, let's talk about who else actually also wanted to get into a trade with DeJounte Murray, which was the Lakers. Apparently, this was something that LeBron James wanted the Lakers to do, and the Lakers didn't do it. So I don't typically applaud the Lakers, but I will applaud this move and no longer letting the GM run that team.
Le GM.
What do you think about that? What do you think about them trying to make it the LeBron wanting them to trade for DeJounte Murray and the Lakers saying, no, we're not doing it?
I think the big reason they didn't do it is because I don't know if they have any assets to actually
I think they have 1 first-round pick.
Yeah, and I'm sure the asking price was higher than that.
Probably.
You know what I mean? DeJounte is quite the talent, and they can probably get more than that. They're going to try to keep him, I think, at this point. I mean, if they move in the offseason, okay, but I think they were probably looking for a couple first-round picks. They've obviously got to match salaries. So, I mean, I love the fact that they don't let LeBron just dictate who they're going to, move, and because who are you going to get rid of?
Right. Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like he picks all these players here and there. Like he wanted Russell Westbrook a few years ago, and then he didn't. And then they move him off, and then they, you know what I mean? Like
I want to talk about that in a minute here because we're definitely going to talk about that for sure. But let's talk about first of all, 2 things I want to talk about LeBron James. Did you hear about the trades that people tried to get LeBron?
Oh yeah, Golden State wanted to try to get him.
Golden State wanted to try to get him, and the Lakers, what they did, that's a baller move right there. Everybody's like, Jeannie Buss, like, why'd you just say, I don't know, ask him, why didn't you say, hey, no, he's our player, we're not trading him? That was a power move right there.
Oh, absolutely.
They were calling LeBron's bluff right there. They were saying, okay, LeBron, you're trying to be the GM, you're trying to get people to, do what you want to do here. We're going to let you decide whether or not you want to listen to a trade offer or not. And he said, no, I want to be a Laker.
Yeah.
So I think that's an ultimate checkmate type move that the Lakers pulled there.
I can tell you why that happened. Did you see the next article that came out today saying that the Lakers would consider drafting Bronny James?
What? Okay. Okay, cool. Good. I mean,
and now you know.
Yeah, now you know. And to a certain point, man, I'm getting tired of that, man. Like the nepotism is a little bit. Bronny James is a great player. I think he could make it as an NBA role player, but yeah, I don't know. I think this whole thing with him. Do you know what Lakers fans want? You know what the Lakers fans said?
Huh.
They want to trade LeBron. They wanted to trade him.
Get rid of LeBron.
They wanted to trade LeBron. And they're a little spoiled because, it is still Kobe's team to them, until he wins a real ring. They don't really think that LeBron did anything for them, So for that, they see out how it is. But, it's that Russell Westbrook trade, man. The Lakers fans went against them. They had a good core that won in the bubble. And then because LeBron wanted another star to run with KD, they traded away a bunch of depth for Russell Westbrook, and it all blew up in their faces. And the Laker fans are just like, you're not going to do to us what you did to Miami, what you did to Cleveland.
Well, and you left him with 0 assets for every future move, and then you move on.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what are you going to do?
Did you hear what Shaq said about why he doesn't put LeBron in his GOAT conversation? Said he whines too much.
I love that, actually.
I absolutely love that. Not a big fan.
Shaq's real, man.
Not a big fan of Shaq, but I love that. I think that was great.
Yeah.
One last thing here on LeBron James before we move in. Now, you mentioned there that he always sits here. So out of the last 9 trips to Salt Lake as a Laker, LeBron James has only appeared or played in 3 of them. What do you think about that?
I don't think he likes playing in Salt Lake City.
Do you know what I think?
I don't think he likes coming to Salt Lake City.
No, I don't think that either, but I think he's afraid.
You think he's afraid of what?
Well, I think 2 things. 1, he doesn't play in Denver that often either. If it's a back-to-back, or if he's on, or he's
If
coming
he's
on
got a
injury.
reason to be a reason for an excuse, he's taking it.
I think he's taking it. I think he realizes his age. I think he's afraid to play in high altitude states.
Yeah.
That's my guess. I think he's afraid to play in Utah. I think he's afraid to play in Denver because, this is a guy who had to be carted off for dehydration, for crying out loud.
8-11 over his career in Utah.
Yeah.
8 wins, 11 losses.
Yeah. It's also, he doesn't perform well here either.
Yeah.
So that's probably a big part of it. But anyway, yeah, I think it's really funny that Golden State tried to get him, and so did the 76ers, and the 76ers just replied back.
The Lakers responded to the 76ers. Is Joel Embiid available?
Yeah, exactly. I love that. So baller move there by the Lakers, man. I love it. So I thought it was pretty interesting. But anyway,
it's about time.
Yeah. So again, folks, let us know in the comments down below. Let us know what you think as far as what the Jazz did on the trade deadline. Are you okay with it? Are you not okay with it? Or, in my personal opinion, I really think, the 30 you got to do what you got to do to not be a 31 team and be irrelevant in the postseason.
Yep.
Who cares if you get into the first round of the playoff, you win a playoff series, you're still going to be irrelevant, right? So
pretty much.
Yeah. But anyway, let us know in the comments down below. Let us know what you think. We want to hear from you guys. Also keep in mind that if you're watching this on YouTube, it is available as I'm saying your line again.
Yep, you are.
Okay, I'm going to stop.
Yeah. So if you're watching on YouTube, this is also available as a podcast anywhere you can tune into it. There'll be a link right in here, maybe. And it's available anywhere you get your podcasts, audio only.
Absolutely. And if you are watching on YouTube, we're also going to have right here, we're going to have a link to our other coverage on the Utah Jazz. So be sure to check that out as well. There's going to be a subscribe button right in the middle. Make sure you click that so you don't miss out on any of our videos that we drop.
Right there.
Perfect. All right. So let's go ahead and move on over to the Major League Baseball, shall we?
Yep. Let's do it.
The Major League Baseball.
The Major League of Baseball.
Absolutely. All right. So I don't know. There's been a bit of talk about Major League Baseball over the last little bit here.
Is it baseball though, Darren? Or is it anything but baseball?
It is a little bit about anything but baseball. And now what we're going to do here is, forgive us guys, we're trying to do this on the fly here for the first time. So we're going to do a little bit of show and tell here. So I'm going to share screen here, and it's going to be this one. And we're going to share this glorious moment here. Let's go ahead and take a look here. If you're watching this here, you'll see this is Shohei Ohtani putting on that gorgeous Dodgers jersey right there. The home whites, the bride wedding gown whites there. And it's just a great moment, right? Look at this and you're like, this is awesome. Like, man, that guy's huge. Look at
if you're a Dodgers fan.
Yeah, if you're a Dodgers fan.
I think everybody else in the MLB is like, this is the worst moment ever.
Yeah. And you look at this like, man, that guy's huge. Look at how small the Dodgers look. Look how small the 17 looks on that. Man, that looks weird. That guy's huge. It's not right. And you know what that is?
What is it, Darren?
That jersey. There is something wrong with the jersey.
Oh, there is many things wrong with that jersey.
There is many things wrong with the jersey. And just so you have an idea, let me start here. And I'm going to show you that. Let's blow this up here so we can see it here. So I'm going to go ahead and go back to our presentation here and present that screen on this side here. I don't know if I can I?
Nope, it doesn't look like it.
Okay, well, maybe we can't share a screen there.
We'll put it on the screen in editing. Darren's got this.
We definitely will. We'll put it on the screen in editing there. I actually thought you could share this. So that's on me, guys. That's on me. But anyway, so the jerseys have changed in Major League Baseball. They have. Now
they are the new Nike Vapor Premium.
Yes. So now this is the part that really bothers me. So now obviously let's talk a bit about it. Let's talk about why it's spilling a little bit of drama. So back in back in 2019, MLB and Nike agreed to a 10-year, $1 billion deal for Nike to take over the on-field uniforms from Majestic. So this took place back in 2019, right?
Yep.
So why is everybody up in arms about it now?
Because they just barely redesigned the jersey this year.
Exactly. So it wasn't until this year, which is really funny because it wasn't until this year, with the exception of a few City Connect jerseys, that things have changed. The template and the uniform stayed the same. They just put the little Nike swoosh on it. And not only that, but they also kept it, and they were made in the exact same factories for the last 3 years
Right.
that they were before.
Yep.
Which is nuts. So all they did was basically just lace out the little check mark there, the little Nike check. So I don't know, man. What do you have on this?
Well, we got a thumbs up because
Oh.
you thumbs up the screen, which is awesome because it went right over my face.
What do you got on the uniforms?
So players have reported that has a poor fit, a cheap look, inconsistent quality, and small lettering, which is actually really funny.
Yeah.
But I mean, it should be noted, these are not for sure the jerseys they're going to be wearing in the regular season, right?
No, it is.
Oh, this is okay.
This
See,
is
and
it.
I've read that they weren't confirmed that these were going to be worn because of all the complaints.
Oh no, this is locked in.
Locked in jersey.
This
Okay.
is from Manfred themselves. This is Nike's doing here. Now there is word that maybe the fan backlash can get something from it, but yeah, this is it. This is what we got.
So Angels outfielder Taylor Ward was quoted saying, "It feels kind of papery. It could be great when you're out there sweating. It may be breathable."
Yeah. Yeah, it's great, man. So Nike, so obviously the things that have changed. Let's talk about the things that have changed on the jerseys themselves here. So what we're talking about here is they are what they've done here is they've changed a few things. One, they made the script smaller, so the front script is smaller.
Right.
And I'll go ahead and throw it on the screen. I can't. I did another thumbs up there. Sorry, man.
Right over my face.
I'll go ahead and throw it up on the screen there. I wasn't able to do it this time here. I'll have to figure that out. I got to figure out how to do that, guys, because I'd love to have it shown on the live stream. But we'll put it up right now. So we'll have Dodgers number 17 on the screen there, and you'll notice that the script itself, the Dodgers, is smaller. The number is smaller. And the biggest problem, and this is with the Braves too, I could show you this on the Braves jerseys too, the split where the jersey is splitting is completely wrong. If you look on the left there on the old jersey, you'll see that it breaks right between the O and the D on Dodgers there.
Yeah.
It breaks just after the A, I believe, before the V hits on the Braves uniform. Nice clean break. You're not breaking up another. On the new one, it's breaking right in the middle of the D there on the Dodgers. So
yeah,
when they're not buttoned up all the way and when they're moving at all, that D is going to be elongated. Go ahead, make the jokes. Anyway, this is a family show, guys. But that it's going to be elongated. It's going to be broken up, and it's just not going to look right. So that's the problem that a lot of people have with that. The jersey numbers on the front, because not every baseball team has them on the front, but the Dodgers do. And the letters are smaller, and they're also perforated. On the back, they made the text smaller, and they've arced it more, and also made the numbers smaller on the back too.
Yeah, I saw a few pictures of the arcing on the back. It's absolutely crazy.
Yeah, and I'll show you the biggest part on that here. Let me show you here what that looks like on the back, so you can just kind of get an idea. So that's Vargas, okay, a rookie second baseman. He's probably, his shoulders are about as broad as mine. But then you got a guy like Ohtani, and look how small that.
Yeah, I mean, you can just see how much smaller they are. They're
So
literally
much
just over
smaller.
top of the numbers.
Yeah, and they also brought the MLB logo down closer towards the name. The name is arced, and the lettering is also, perforated and smaller. So, yeah, just a lot of changes there that are not good. And we'll get into a little bit of that. But another piece there that people are complaining about is the color. Now, everybody had a white jersey. Now, this is big for Dodgers fans because the whole point of the white jersey is how crisp and clean that white is. It's kind of hard to tell here, but when you see it on the screen, you'll see it a little bit different. You'll see how much wider that jersey is versus the off-white the new jerseys are going to be.
Yeah, and there's also a couple players had mentioned that the shirts and the pants don't actually match. Like some of the shades are different from shirts to pants. Yeah,
I did not hear that.
Yeah.
Wow, that's not great.
Yeah,
that's not great at all.
So one of the things that changed is Nike had quote unquote simplified the process. And they took like 300 body scans, right?
Yeah.
To make sure that jerseys were fitting just as good as they were before. And all of a sudden they took tailoring out. So tailoring is not an option with the new jerseys.
No.
So now all these players are just wearing these generically sized, they're going to look like little league players out there.
Yeah.
Just like the jerseys don't fit at all. Pants are too big.
Yeah. According to Nike, the reason why they did this to make it more athletic, more form fitting than the previous chassis. I think it's funny that they use the word chassis there. They said that it's going to be made from recycled polyester material designed to be more flexible, 25% lighter, heat dispersal technology, and 25% quicker to dry. So if all that happens and it's like super nice to have it on the field in the middle of the hot July, August day, sure, I bet players will probably turn around on that. but it's the fans with the lettering on the back and how they're doing the names.
Just the straight appearance of them.
It looks trashy. Some of the pictures have been complaining about the pants. Tommy Canley, aka Tommy Tight Pants, said Wednesday when he gave it the stretch test that they aren't tight enough, and he likes the old ones, is what he's been quoted to say. One of the Dodgers pitchers said, "I'm swimming in my pants." Cardinal player says,
Swimming.
Yeah. So, there's a lot of pitchers out there that like to wear tighter pants. It's better for circulation and stuff like that. It allows them to lift off it. And the fact that the pants are not customizable or tailored is terrible. Cardinal player on Twitter named the back, says it looks really crappy. It looks really bad. Makes it look like a Walmart jersey. Catchers, the Reds.
I bet you Walmart didn't appreciate that.
No. Catcher, the Reds catcher, Luke Maley, said the change of the jerseys is like, well, I'll close it with that quote there. When it comes to the jerseys, what do you think about the jerseys? What do you think is the long term? Do you think this is something we're just going to have to get used to? Do you think the upboard is going to make a change? What do you think is going to happen?
I think Nike will make a change.
You think so?
I would be very surprised if you see these jerseys after this many complaints from players and fans alike that Nike puts this jersey on the field when the season actually starts.
Yeah, I think as long as if the players are okay with it, if all that stuff they claim is good, and the players are okay with it.
I doubt they change the material, but I think they'll probably change back the fonts and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Just the little things that people are complaining about that are just visual effects, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure they'll probably keep the exact same material. They'll keep the same composition. I doubt the color schemes actually change. Like, I'm sure they'll probably still use that off-white color, et cetera. But I think that they'll probably make the changes and go back after having that many complaints about just the way it visually looks on the field. I think they'll probably change it.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you there. Good or bad, right now they're here to stay, and I definitely think that my favorite way to look at this is the Reds quote here from Luke Maley, who said the changing of the jerseys are like changing the toilet paper. You'll notice it at first, but after a while, it's just toilet paper.
Yep,
that's a quote from The Athletic there. So
that's great.
It'll be annoying for a while, and people who are uniform purists, like any Dodgers fans would be, they're going to be upset with it because the off-white's a big deal. For the it
feels a lot more Giants than it does Dodgers.
Go ask the Yankees how they're going to feel about the pinstripes and the white on the pinstripes being an off-white versus a white.
Correct.
Yeah.
Atlanta
Braves, they change their jerseys often, but if you look where that split is, it's not nice. It did not look good. So definitely see that. But we want to know what you think, folks. There, let us know in the comments down below. Let us know what you think as far as the jersey changes. Do you think it's an improvement? Do you think they're terrible? Do you think MLB is going to change it? Let us know your thoughts down below as far as that goes, and if you have any take on the uniforms at all.
Yeah. And if you're watching are we done?
No, I do want to talk about one more thing.
Okay, cool. Let's wait then.
Okay, you got anything else on the jersey?
None on the jerseys. That's all I got on the jerseys.
Okay.
They're garbage. They'll change. Everyone be patient.
Yeah. I like it. I like where you're at, AJ. It's perfect. Okay, we got to talk about the A's.
The A's?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Honestly, if you told me when I started a YouTube channel and a podcast about I was going to be talking baseball, if you told me the majority of my content was going to be about the freaking Oakland A's, I would have laughed at you. I'm all right with talking about the Braves, the Dodgers, the Padres, all these teams. By the way, we're not talking Royals anymore, guys. So sorry, nobody turned into those videos.
Yeah, there's nobody that even cares because nobody watched them.
No, nobody watched them. So don't want we're not talking about the Royals anymore. But yeah, so as far as that goes, let's talk about the A's. Now, I don't know if you heard this, but this actually happened today. A's president Dave Kaval and chief of staff Miguel Duarte met with Oakland and Alameda County officials Thursday to discuss the possibility of a lease extension of the Oakland Colosseum that happened today.
No, thank you.
Have you heard about this?
No.
Okay. Well,
but I'm really upset just you mentioning those words.
Yeah. So the decision has not been met yet. So my first question to you is why? Why would they do this? I have an answer for you, but what do you think is why?
My guess would be to just try to retain whatever fan base they can get in Oakland and strictly about money. I mean, if they can renew the lease and it makes dollars, then of course they're going to try to keep it there. Yeah,
money does definitely come into play on this. But first for me, I'm like, why would why would they talk about a possible extension when they've gone on record saying repeatedly, the A's have said repeatedly that Alameda County has been a terrible partner to work with,
and they don't want to stay there. Yeah.
So also, why would Alameda County want to prolong this? They stated on 12A, the Zone KSL Sports Network, their 1280 KSL Sports Network on the radio. That it's like moving with your ex after you've got engaged to someone else. It's just awkward.
Just awkward.
But so now you mentioned it perfectly why the A's want to stay. It's the money. So do you remember when we talked about the cheapest owners in Major League Baseball? Ironically, Fisher with the A's is one of them. Do you remember when we talked about that?
Absolutely.
Do you remember how we talked about why they're allowed to be cheap? Why they're allowed to be cheap?
No.
Okay. So the reason why they want to stay in Oakland is the regional sport network payout.
Oh, of course it is.
They're getting that $40 million from MLB
Yeah,
from the national.
absolutely.
But it's that $60 million they're losing on their local regional sport network, and it's actually going to be $67 million. So if they do not play in Oakland over the next 3 years, they lose out on that $67 million every year for the next 3 years.
I wonder if they did move to Salt Lake City, does that move on to one of the Salt Lake City regional sport networks?
There's no agreement in place for anything like that. Like it would have to be something.
SCG Media takes it over.
SCG Media. Let's see it.
Let's see it, Ryan Smith.
Let's see it.
Yeah.
I don't know about the Miller Group. I don't know what they're capable of doing, but
I'm sure they're more than capable, even if they got to fund it and run it through SCG Media.
Yeah. But that's $67 million. That is a motivation for them to stay in Oakland for the next 3 seasons. That
just move to Salt Lake.
That's the dagger right
there. Be
there.
over with it.
To me, that's the dagger. It's kind of obvious why Oakland wants the A's to stay in Oakland, even though they complained about it the whole time as well, is what are you going to do with the Coliseum, man, if the A's aren't there?
Tear it down?
Place is a garbage hole. You'd have to tear it down. But what are you going to do? Like monster truck rallies and stuff like that? No one's,
do monster truck rallies and then only fill half the stadium and let them go up the other half of the stadium.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, let's get some real use out of the Coliseum.
Yeah. So anyway, so when it comes to the negotiations, here's some stuff that's coming from the Oakland mayor, Shing Tao. She said that they're open to extending the lease, but there would be some concessions that would need to be included. First one would be obviously the rent would need to be hiked from for the previous season that's coming up. It's $1.2 million for them to rent the Coliseum
for the year.
Yes, so the rent would
go up.
Doesn't
seem like that bad of a deal.
Have you seen the Coliseum?
I know, but I feel like if we could come up with $1 million, could you imagine shooting the show live at the Coliseum every week?
Yeah, let's do that. I love it. Yeah, our chat's blowing up, so yeah, we can fill up the.
I don't care if anybody watches or not. If we got $1 million to rent the Coliseum, it's going to be awesome.
It's going to be sweet. Let's do it. We'll have the possums on as a guest for the podcast for sure. Now, as far as the other piece there, the raise would go up. Obviously, the rent would go up, and they would want a chunk of that $67 million per season. It would be for them to stay in the Bay Area because it's the Bay Area sports rights that they're getting.
Right, trying to get.
Second qualification is that the A's are agreeing to leave the team name colors in Oakland when they move away to Vegas. So the Athletics can no longer be called the Athletics. Got to leave their color, name, and logos with them. And the third one, which is the sticky point, which really, depending on how desperate MLB is the key. And this is a guarantee from MLB that Oakland would receive an expansion team once the A's leave.
No thanks.
That is the terms from the A's about what they would expect in order for them to agree to a lease extension. The first one,
why would the MLB agree to that?
Well,
if you don't even have a place to play baseball.
Mm-hmm.
Like the fan base was fantastic when they decided they wanted to show up,
mm-hmm.
but you don't even have a place to play baseball.
Right. Well, the thing would be they would tear down they'd build a new stadium with an expansion team. They were willing to do it. Just Fisher was just not working with them, according to them anyway. But that would be the two things. Now that would be the biggest part there. That would really screw the chances of Salt Lake getting an expansion team, I think.
Oh, guaranteed.
Because they want an East Coast team and they want a West Coast team. They got one in Nashville. And if they agree to this extension, well, then they got one on the East Coast there back in Oakland. But
I don't think the MLB will agree to that.
You don't think so?
I don't think so. I don't think they want a team in Oakland.
I'd have to agree with you on that one. I think that's probably the best option. So not only
you've got the Millers and obviously like the whole baseball group here in Salt Lake that are
Big
saying
League Utah, yep.
We are going to build a brand new stadium in the Power District.
Mm-hmm.
Brand new, state of the art, right in downtown Salt Lake City. We're willing to fund it. It'll be up in 4 or 5 years. Like, yeah, bring a team.
Yeah.
And then you've got Oakland who's like, well, we've had a team for the last 50 years. The stadium's 150 years old.
Mm-hmm.
We promise we'll do better next time.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
Their take is that with local ownership group, they feel like they're actually going to invest in the team and they'll be more like Golden State than they are versus the Oakland A's. Like it's just the ownership group that's causing the problem.
I don't believe it.
I really like your optimism, man, because I think with that kind of money on the table and with Oakland isn't willing to move on their offer if they don't take this, like if they're not willing to move from some of this, maybe the increased rent for the Colosseum, maybe the A's have to move to Vegas, become the Dice. I don't know. Maybe those two things. But
Vegas Dice.
I don't think MLB. I think that last one. I don't think MLB is going to agree.
I just want to see the logo for the dice.
Right?
Is it 2 logos?
Maybe
because you can't just have because then it would just be a die.
The biggest snake eyes or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. What would you call them? I don't know. But
yeah, leave us a comment. Let us know what you think the name.
What the A's would
the
be
Las
called.
Vegas A's will be.
Yeah, I'm glad that you're more optimistic on that one because I think between the money, the $67 million per year for three to 4 seasons for an extension, that's a lot of money, man. You know, that's $150,000, $160,000. Sorry, my math isn't great, guys. But you know, that's why I'm on YouTube and not, you know,
an accountant
for sure. That's leaving a lot of money on the table. I think it really hurts Utah's chances of getting it. But if you're confident, then I'm excited because I really would hate for us to be a team that doesn't get an MLB team that only gets an NHL team, and then now I'm stuck covering hockey. You know,
yay!
Don't get me wrong. I'd love to cover hockey, but I'm only covering hockey if I get to cover baseball too. So,
and I'm only covering hockey if there's a team here.
That's true.
That I can go watch and actually be involved in.
Yeah.
Because that's the reason I watch the Utes, and that's the reason I watch the Jazz.
Yeah. So between anyway, to wrap this segment up there, basically what it is that the meeting lasts for about an hour. No decision was made. They're going to continue to make discussions, but yeah, definitely a blow towards the Utah getting a team for sure.
Yep, absolutely.
You got anything else on Major League Baseball?
No, I think we're just about at time.
Oh, are we?
Yep, 51 minutes.
Sweet. Question for you.
Yeah.
Why are Cody Bellinger and Blake Snell not signed yet?
There's 2 words that explain why they're not signed yet.
No, really.
Scott Boras.
Yeah, something's got to be done about that, man. You got 4 players that are sitting there. They're waiting until the last minute to sign in. Scott Boras thinks they're going to be desperate. You know,
he thinks everyone's going to be desperate. What he doesn't realize is teams are already in training.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they're already planning to be without these guys. Like, they don't give a shit.
Yeah. The Orioles already lost a pitcher. Their star pitcher from last year already went down with Tommy John. So I don't think it's Tommy John. I shouldn't jinx him on that. But, you know, they might get desperate. May want to make a play for Jordan Montgomery or Blake Snell. So who knows? We'll see. I
think it's funny that Scott Boras always rolls the dice on teams are going to lose players in the preseason, and then we'll be able to get whatever we want from them.
Right.
That's your philosophy. These guys are just sitting around, not reporting to training camps.
Yeah.
Not getting any extra reps in, and they're just going to hop in. Yeah, they're obviously very talented players that probably don't need training camp or are going to play a ton of training camp, but they're still missing out on valuable reps, a valuable cohesion with teams. Like, get it together, Scott Boras. Sign these guys some contracts, man.
Absolutely. I 100% agree. Yeah. Let us know what you guys think they're going to end up for sure. We'd like to hear from you on that.
Yep.
Anything else?
I just the only other thing that I had was Scott Wheeler and the Phillies. Did you see that they had entered into extension talks?
What? Really?
Yeah, Zach Wheeler and the Phillies it's apparently the Phillies' top priority to retain Zach Wheeler this offseason after they just made, all their offseason signings. They are trying to extend him to make sure that he's with the Phillies long term.
Well, I like him.
Yeah.
I think he's a good player. Do you think that if you lose him, you got 2 pitchers there you could easily replace him with? So
I think that's exactly it. But I think it speaks a lot to the Phillies organization to say, hey, this is our top priority to re-sign this guy, right? You've been with the organization. We want, you've put time into us. We want to put time back into you, keep you around long term, keep this pitching staff together, and hopefully go win some ball games, because the Phillies looked really scary at the beginning of the postseason.
I'm sure they did.
They looked really scary. Obviously, it didn't end up very well, but they looked scary.
No. Yeah, I think you're spot on there. He's been in top 5 in Cy Young voting before. So yeah, absolutely. I love to see it. I love the baseball's right around the corner. Probably not going to catch the Dodgers opening series in Seoul because it's going to be about 3:00 in the morning when that airs. You want to do a live stream?
We're doing live stream, bro. We'll
live stream that and watch party.
Yeah.
What
day is it?
Yeah. It's going to be in like late February, early March. No,
we're
March.
in.
I'll let you know.
Live streaming it.
Live streaming at 2 a.m. Let us know if you guys want to join.
I say we just turn the TV on. We'll turn the camera on, put our mics on, and let's just talk about it.
That's right. I like it. Well, once again, folks, keep in mind this is available as a podcast. It is available audio only wherever you get your podcasts. It's also available on YouTube underneath our video playlist labeled podcasts. I fell into my old routine of saying that when we walk out. I didn't realize we switched.
Yeah. And that video you just talked about will be right here. And if you're watching on YouTube, one of our short clips, make sure you click over there for the video retaining to whatever we just talked about.
I like it. I like it. Also, remember, folks, to subscribe to the channel. Also, hit that notification bell. Let us know what you guys like to see. Make sure you smash that like button so it helps the algorithm, really helps out the channel. With all that said, my name is Darren. That is AJ. And this has been the DNA Sports Recap.
Till next time.